Sunday, it was a tough day for both Minnesota and Ohio State. They both got losses on the road, and they're trying to get past that, which is our Northwestern Mutual planning for success of the day.
That one's over. What do we do next? And that's my biggest concern. In terms of, as I'm trying to tell these guys, like, look, we can't change the past. We got another game tomorrow night, and we have to be ready to go. We have to get back to playing the defense at the level that we need to play defense at. And you're not going to hold a team scoreless. You're not going to not give up a layup. You're not going to not give up an offensive rebound. But it's got to be the next possession. You got to get it done. You've got to find ways, and that's the biggest thing I'm after going into tomorrow night's game.
All right, we're preparing for another ranked team, a team that Ohio State is coming off a tough loss like we did against Iowa. It's a matter of just executing, as it is in every situation, and just being poised, no panic. You got to step up and make plays and do it and take care of the ball. That's always the case, and you don't have much room, margin for error.
And so those two teams will be playing each other. Sean, when they play